Hello and welcome to the STARTrading podcast with me, Lewis.
And me, Sophie.
And today we're going to talk about what would we do differently if we had to start again. So, what would you do differently if you had to start again?
I mean, we always say this about investing, but start sooner.
Yeah.
Everyone should start as soon as possible because of the power of compound interest.
Yeah.
The interest you can gain from trading is insane. 5% a month is totally doable. 10% a month is very realistic.
Yeah.
Some people are doing 20% a month.
Yeah.
So if you start that in your 20s, it would just, set you up for life.
Yeah.
So I would start sooner. I would also invest sooner because the program that you offer isn't free.
No.
It's an investment. And I would just invest sooner. It's okay to invest in yourself. And actually, I've done that in lots of different things like personal development, mentors, coaches, masterminds.
Yeah.
I've signed up to stuff that I can't afford at the time, but I'm committing to because I know the return on that investment will be insane.
Yeah.
I think there's lots of people out there who sign up for courses or things which just don't really deliver.
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because the amount of things probably on a monthly basis that I sign up for, I'm like, yes, that sounds super interesting. I want to know what it is, but I've only paid £50, £100, £200 for it, and so therefore it goes on the back burner. Yeah. Whereas when I started my trading journey and I took half my annual salary out on a credit card and a loan, I was invested.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to make this work, and that's why I'm very happy to charge people a fee to get access to me and to my team, because they will be invested in themselves and therefore way more likely to do the work.
Yeah. And then they will get that return on investment even quicker.
Yeah.
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 So for me, it's doing it quicker, doing it sooner, and also feeding my account quicker. Because for the first year or two, I was kind of keeping it small and getting my confidence up. And it does take a few months to get the hang of it, doesn't it? But I've still kind of played it small. But then as soon as I started, injecting decent amounts into my account, that compounds even quicker. Yeah. And you can just fly with it. So, yeah.
So that's an interesting thought. So that is kind of a thought that I had as well. I would have put more money into my account quicker. And I'll come on to kind of another thing that I would do differently in a moment. But it's part of the journey, right? It's part of the learning. And we talk about within the STARTrading method, one of the key elements is mindset. And one of the key elements of the 3 C's, which we'll try and remember: confidence, consistency, and competency. Thank you very much. So if we know we have to build those things up, do you think you could have comfortably put more money in sooner? Or do you think that you kind of went along the trajectory, the journey, the speed at which you could do based on confidence, competency, and consistency at the time?
I think I probably could have done it a bit sooner. I think I definitely gave myself time and space to learn it and become confident and consistent and competent. But now I'm just kicking myself for not putting more money in sooner.
Yeah.
And I, you just realize, just trust the process. You've got it.
Yeah.
You've got it.
Yeah.
You're proving it already. You're tracking it. You can see the compound and the results. Just go for it.
What do you think makes people not trust that process, even when they've got the information, the data, and the support right there?
I think it's habit changing as well. So now when I pay myself or I get, money in from businesses and things, one of the first things I do is stick some in the trading account.
Yeah.
And so just to slowly increase that as I felt comfortable doing. It was just a habit. And then I realized, no, you can put in more. You should put in more. And look what happens when you do. Yeah.
Yeah. That's brilliant. That's it. That for me should be our traders within STARTrading's monthly process, is even if it's only £10 in the early stages, just get used to adding money in and increasing that, because you need to get used to seeing different numbers on the screen, bigger numbers on the screen, but also get used to realizing that that number you have on the screen, however big or small, is just a percentage. Yeah. And that, I think, allows people on that mindset perspective to increase their account with more cash whilst focusing on the percentage, which is really good.
What about you?
So I think one of the things that I would do differently, so I started trading 12 years ago. I need to start saying 12 years ago, it's upsetting. And I mean, as much as I wish I'd started earlier as well, of course, who wouldn't wish that? But I was 24 when I started. which was still fairly young, really. Not that it felt young at the time, but still fairly young. From that point of making the decision, taking out a credit card and a loan to pay half my annual salary into mentorship, I don't regret that decision whatsoever, because I was able to leave my job after 7 months. And I think I've talked about this before, but I do think I should have stayed in my job for longer. The problem is, it's quite a nice little soundbite to say I left my job after 7 months. But if I was on the flip side back then, so what I mean by that is if I was on the mentoring side back then versus being the mentee back then, I probably would have, my advice would have been stay in a job for a bit longer, build up more experience, build up more skill set, build up your pot more as well. Because from that point, I had to rely on my account growth to be from my trading growth, which I was doing, and it was fine, and I obviously made it work, but I could have taken the pressure off and I could have grown my account quicker if I'd kept that income from my old job and added in the extra £100 I had left over each month. Because even though £100 doesn't sound like a lot, the way that that compounds is crazy, absolutely crazy. And so if I just stuck it out for even just another few months, even just a year, and gone hardcore tight on my expenses and just rammed that money into my trading account, then I would have grown wealth through trading even quicker. Don't get me wrong, I'm not sad with the position I'm currently in, but I could have been even further along if I'd wanted to be.
Yeah, there's like social media posts you say like easy life now, hard life later. Hard now makes it easy later. And I think that's what it's about. It's about investing and sacrificing and, like you said, tightening up everything, putting everything you can into your investments so that later it's going to be so easy.
I was thinking about this the other day, and I was just sat looking at my finances and looking at the money I have and realizing that the money I have now is a direct result of that decision 12 years ago to invest heavily into education and mentorship, because that opened up so many doorways, just in terms of conversations, just in terms of the exposure of the type of people that you're with. And so one thing I would maybe do differently, start getting around those kinds of people or start reading those kinds of books. And I think I was fortunate that I was very easy to sell to because I was like, cool, yeah, that's what I want. Then you're telling me the way to get to that is by doing this, and that is going to cost me £10,000, £15,000, whatever it might be. Boom, here we go. I mean, I wish I'd started earlier, but again, my own journey, I don't think I would have been ready to start earlier from a mindset perspective. So if I could have found some people to hang out with that could have changed my mindset rather earlier on, that would have been phenomenal.
Yeah, I think it's really important to think about, even as society, we learn to grow up, get a job, have the career, work the 9 to 5, and we're not taught about the investing side of things or the entrepreneurial side of things. And I wish I'd learnt it sooner, because it's just so important to get these concepts early and be in the same room as people who are ambitious, who are entrepreneurial, who are doing these crazy things like trading and investing. And you do have to invest in yourself. You do have to pay to do the courses, pay to be in those rooms, meet these ambitious, amazing entrepreneurs with an abundance mindset where there's no limit and everything is possible. And I think it's just amazing to get in those rooms and be inspired and then to follow those paths as well.
I think if I think to everyone I know in STARTrading who's become a successful trader, the one thing they would all say is they wish they'd started sooner. So don't delay. Start today. Get involved.
Yeah, I'm getting my kids on it.
Yeah. Well, and I love that, because the quicker people start, the sooner they get the results. And I'm a big believer that time will pass either way. Yeah. And so you may as well use that time to end up in a better position in the future, rather than think, oh, there's so much time that's going to take me so long. Well, it's not going to take that long to master this skill. It can take a few months to master the skill, but then you've got it for life. So yeah, brilliant. I think it's time for a snack.
Yes, it is.
Awesome. So let's do our magic. 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
Look at that. This is fisherman's friend. That's what you've got me. What have you got?
I've got Percy Pig, Naughty and Nice.
Oh, what makes them naughty? What makes them nice?
I don't even know. You're gonna have to have a look.
This might be good for sinuses.
Yeah. Are you a friend of fishermen?
Many fishermen in my time. Yes. Oh,
Oh, I've got pink ones and green ones.
maybe that's what makes it
Maybe.
get too nice. Right, I'm going to start with this. Tastes almost cinnamony. No, not anymore. Great pineapple.
You like a pig?
I'm typing.
No. Yeah, these are great. Very nice. Very enjoyable. Thank you very much.
Out of 10?
I'll go 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did well.
Yeah, you did.
Surprise, not that high.
Really?
They were pre-opened. And I don't dislike the taste. I'm going to say 3 out of 10.
3 out of...
Yeah. I feel like you've given me medicine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in hindsight, probably wasn't the best. So.
So-
Well, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Star Trading Podcast with me, Lewis.
And me, Sophie.
We'll see you later.
Bye.